should stay right here a little longer. Barely get to see each other. We can spend the weekend on the water. Even let you take me under. No, you're usually all work, no play. Glad you came. You should stay until Saturday. 'Cause you ain't gotta work tomorrow anyway. Do it, babe. Sweet Saturdays. I got you all to myself on Saturdays. Oh yeah, babe. I can make you breakfast in the morning. Time we're spending's way too overdue. Drinking like we know where this is going. No, I'm gonna be all on go for you. We're both usually all work, no play. Glad you came. Hope you stay until Saturday. 'Cause you ain't gotta work tomorrow anyway. Do it, babe. Oh, sweet Saturday. 'Cause I got you all to myself on Saturdays. Oh yeah, babe. Yeah.
Here we go. We up. Yes, we are up. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. All right. We are back again. Back again. All right. See how my audience look. I left a little something on TikTok to let people know I was going live. Greetings to everybody out there. I'm your host, the intellectual Lord Benjamin Manhattan, and this is Supreme American TV. But before we do anything, always in the name of Lord Amen, the Supreme, the all-powerful, the one and only true living force. And Lord Amen, we trust. And Lord Amen, we thank. And Lord Amen, we continue forward forever. All right. So I'm here. And we're going to be discussing what is it that Black Americans, Black people in particular, but especially Black Americans, what is it do they need more than anything? We're going to get into this because a lot of people, the general consensus says that so-called Black people need religion, right? And God, Jesus and God. This is not a cigarette. Before we go into this, this is not a cigarette. All right. This is a hemp. This is hemp. This is not tobacco. This is not nicotine. This is not nothing that's going to give you cancer or get you sick or anything. This is just regular old hemp. It's greenery, whatnot, CBD hemp. So just so you know, it's nothing bad. So people, in case people say, oh, he's smoking cigarettes. No, I don't smoke cigarettes. So let's make sure we put that rumor to rest of that idea to rest. It looked like a cigarette though, right? I never liked cigarettes. I never liked tobacco. I was never one of them people that smoke. But I do like marijuana, of course, which is nothing wrong with that. It's a relaxer. Again, the regular stuff, not the that high grade THC nonsense. That's garbage. So no, we don't do that over here. But anyway, so we say to ourselves, what do our people really need in real time? What do we really need in real time? All right. We need law and order in real time. A lot of people would rather go to religion. A lot of people would rather go to politics. A lot of people would rather go to everything other than what will really fix the minds of our people. You see, accountability is necessary amongst our people. You don't find that in religion. You don't find accountability in religion. You don't find people trying to take responsibility for the things they do in religion. Mm. Mm. So the adverse effect happens with religion when our people get caught up in it. They stop uh, having law and order. And I'm not talking about the law and the order of the society. I'm talking about a law and the order of a community. You see, because community law and community order is what makes people, makes good people great people. Community law and order. You see, uh, we were educated to forget nature, take no command, fish, and don't swimming and don't go swimming to school. Okay, all that comes in alignment with law and order that needs to be carried out by community. That's what we need. We need that more than God and Jesus and everything else, because I notice the people who follow religion, who believe in politics, who do all of the things short of breaking the law in the society, they still carry a, you know, immoral energy on them, like a lot of our people do, carrying a moral energy on them. Why? Because there's no law and order to check the men and women in the community. First and foremost, there's no community. That's number one. See, the community is supposed to be to hold people accountable for what they do in the community. Without law and order in community or in the community, people could just do whatever they want to do. And that's just been the case for the last 50, 60 plus years. And why I say in that shorter period of time is because it was a time where so-called black people had law and order in their community. They had community law and community order. Yes, they did. They did. It started to become unraveled over time. As we left the South, it started coming up north. It started to become unraveled over time. Once our people started to, once they started to get involved in all these religions and things like that, it started to become unraveled over time when people started, when so-called black people started to go into these different religions and different philosophies and things like that. Community law and community order and decency got lost. They got lost in the men, women, and children. There used to be a time where it was a shame, or your parents were ashamed if you went to jail. If their children went to jail or got in trouble, with parents used to be ashamed of that. You see, people didn't talk about back in the day. My father used to tell you that people, were ashamed. If people went to jail, they were ashamed. But nowadays, young men wear it like a badge of honor that they went to jail, that they did time in jail. Like I said, so how did it go from that to that? How did it go from people being proud to do time in the penal system of the society? How did it go from that to, how did it go from people being ashamed of doing time in the penal system to people being proud of that? How did that happen? Why did that happen? Why was it a breakdown in the family? Because once the community breaks down, once the men leave the community, the women start to they no longer see the value in community. They start reaching out into the world and make a living, which they have to do. The men are not there to take care of the homes no more. Women are not there to be extra eyes in the neighborhood for the children so that they don't get out of line or, do anything out of order. You see, that's the kind of communities we had. That's the kind of communities we had at one time. And now we have none of that. We have none of that. Mm, mm. And a society that is getting lost more and more by the day. A society is getting lost more and more by the day. The people in the church, if church was going to help the so-called black community, it would have did it already. Let me close my door because one of my daughters is whining and making noise, and she's throwing me off a little bit. All right. All right. I had to close that door. My daughter was whining. You got 4 girls. Somebody gonna be whining and crying about something or other. But anyway, so what got lost with our people in translation was community law, community order. That's what got lost with our people. And because that was allowed to happen amongst our people, because that was allowed to, take place, our people were allowed to lose themselves in this world out here. full of lies, full of confusion, full of false beliefs. The thing that still remains is that we lost law and order. We lost the idea, the need, and the mindset of community law and community order. We lost it. We lost the mindset that we need to have a community. We lost the mindset that we need to hold ourselves accountable for the things we do. You see, that's why, again, people don't hold themselves accountable for the things they do. This is why you got street gangs out here, which was supposed to be young men policing the neighborhood, doing the job that the police don't have to come in and do. Right? That was supposed to be young men policing the neighborhood, making sure the women are safe, the children are safe. That's what your gangs were originally. Then they turned into something else. You see, this is what happened when you don't have law and order. You have a bunch of wayward children raising themselves, making up their own laws and orders as they go. And then what happens? The community falls apart. Then you got gangs. You got people selling, narcotics. They peddling and they doing a little bit of everything. The girls out here, they giving their body away. All this stuff happens. It starts to crumble when there's no community. All this starts to happen when there's no law and order, when there's no accountability. Because you always got these people out here who are going to be rebellious. They're going to be rebellious. They're not going to listen. I'm not, I do what I want to do. I'm my own God. You ain't my daddy. All the rebellious talk that you hear coming from so-called black people. And these are the same people that sit up in church. So what does that tell you? That they go to church with conditions. Church is conditional. There's conditions with church. Whereas the law and the order should be unconditional, meaning that it should be no matter what. No, there's no conditions with it and whatnot. Should I say, that it should be mandatory. You see, it should be mandatory that, we follow law and order as a people. That should be mandatory as men and as women, but that has to be redefined. That people have to pledge to live by that and see that to have law and order in our community is what's going to bring our people back as a people, as an American people, because the goal should be to bring our people forward as an American people. The goal should be that we should be striving to be the best Americans here in America. That should be the goal. The goal should be that we strive to be the best Americans here in America. Okay? That's the goal. Let's be the best Americans here. I don't want to hear nothing about ancient Egypt. I don't want to hear nothing about Africa. I don't want to hear nothing about Asia. You know why our people don't become anything? You know why our people fail in the society, lose in the society? You know why that happens? Why that continues to happen? Because you're trying to be something that you're not. We're trying to align ourselves with something we're not. We're trying to be everything other than what we are, American. You see, we're trying to be the best Christians. We're trying to be the best Muslims. We're trying to be the best Hebrew Israelites. We're trying to be the best Moors. We're trying to be the best, whatever somebody else is, we're trying to be the best of. So why don't we be the very best thing that we actually are, which is Americans? That should be the very best thing. We should be trying to be the best Americans. We're supposed to have the best diet as Americans. We're supposed to have the best morals as Americans. We're supposed to have the best children as Americans. And that can only be accomplished by having an American community. Isn't that something we want? Don't we want to be better people? Shouldn't we want to be greater people? I hear all the time our people talking about the black man is God, the black woman is God, but y'all don't act like it. Because truth be told, the idea of God is a selfish idea amongst men and women. I'm going to say it again, the idea of being God is a selfish idea. Why is that? Because everything we're taught about God is based in selfishness. This idea that there is one God that is alone and has no partners to do things. But then in the Genesis, it says that let us make man in our image and after our likeness. So this God image, or the Lord, as they said, his higher power, was never alone. They were working in unison. This is a group of people working in unison to make things happen. There's multiple powers working as one, unifying as one. And that is the analogy of community. The Lord was strong because the Lord utilized different parts of the body, different parts of the people of the Lord. Utilize that. Whereas God is selfish because God teaches that, it's all about you as an individual. God deals with individuality. The Lord deals with collectivism. God deals with individuality. You see, that's why people pedestalize God and put themselves on some level with God, but you're actually lowering yourself when you put yourself on the same line with God. Somebody said, our story before bondage is the world's mis biological alibi. Is that alibi? Okay. I'm talking about what's making us better today as a people. What we are today is we in America as a people. We in America today as a people. That's what we are. Shouldn't we start where we are? I mean, I don't want to. I keep hearing people talking about God and Jesus and religion and spirituality and Egyptology and black consciousness. I hear Moorish science and all this other stuff. We done heard it all before. Haven't we heard it all before? Haven't we heard enough? We done been hearing that we should be the best of all these things, but these things are foreign to us. So why don't we be the thing that is really connected to us, which is natural to us, something that we ain't been trying to do, which is be the best Americans. Remember, I said we are American by nationality. We are American by nationality. So-called Black Americans are American by nationality. We didn't come from no place else. We've always been here in America, whether it be North America or South America. And my point being is, as indigenous Americans, real indigenous Americans, we need to have laws and orders as a community to restore us as those original Americans, because the original is always the best. The original, the first, is always the best. How we know that the original people is us, the original Americans, all you got to go to is listen to the or read the 1828 Merriam-Webster Dictionary definition of American. The 1828 Merriam-Webster Dictionary definition of American. That tells you right there who you really are as a people. The copper-colored races who were found here by the Europeans. Who were the copper-colored races that were found here by the Europeans? That was us. So that's really what our nationality is, right from the mouths of the other people, the other race, right from the mouths of these people, the Caucasians, the people who y'all look to and y'all read and look to them for history. So there it is, right in your face, who we really are as a people, as a nation. We are an American people in America, and we should be embracing that through law and through order as Americans. And we need a community that stands on that, that makes us better Americans. Yes, we do. We need that. We need that more than we need God, Jesus, Allah, Jehovah, and all these things, because y'all got Jesus, you got God, you got Allah, you got Jehovah, you got Yahweh, you got all these gods, yet y'all still the worst people. Yet you're still the worst people. When I say the worst people, I don't mean the worst people, in the world. I mean the worst people on the scale of, good and bad measured amongst yourselves. In other words, you become the worst of yourselves. You become the worst of yourselves when you should be focused on becoming the best of yourselves, the greater of yourselves, and continue to grow, because that grows your children better, that grows you better as a people, that makes you over time content and satisfied with your life when you are striving to be better. And what ultimately makes you do that is constant accountability as a people. Constant accountability as a people. That's what makes you a better people. Not sitting around here talking about God and Jesus, because most of the time, that whole God and Jesus thing that people like to get into, the belief in God and Jesus is all about passing the buck. When you get somebody to hold them accountable for something they did, I'm going to give that to Jesus. I'm going to give that to God. I'm going to give it to Jesus and God. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm going to give it to Jesus. No, you should be dealt with according to the law. Like I remember I told you this story about this lady who approached this pastor, right? This pork chop eating reverend, right? She approached him in Walmart. That video's viral. She approached the man because when she was a child, she was touched on by this old pedo, you see, in the church. So she approached him about it. I guess he's a pastor now. He said, I gave that to Jesus, meaning that he gave that filthy, degenerate desire to some fictitious God or Jesus or whatever, some fictitious higher power. Just another way. Basically, I don't want to be accountable for what I did, so I could just push it off on Jesus, like the world pushes off these sins on Jesus and God or whoever else, the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus, whoever you push off your degeneracy and your bad behavior on. And all it spells out is a people who are not held accountable. That's all it spells out. A people who are not held accountable for what they do. Then, as you become those kind of people that are not held accountable, when you start to think that all I got to do is give it to God or give it to Jesus or give it to Allah or whoever you claim you're going to give your degenerate ways and things to pawn them off, and without any punishment, without any judgment, that makes you a worse person. That makes you an even worse person. You see, and that's what Black people have been doing. Black people have been getting worse and worse because we don't have accountability for ourselves. We don't have it for our children. We don't. We shouldn't have to be talking about the so-called white man locking up our people or shooting our people. We shouldn't have to be talking about that and the police doing that. You shouldn't have to be. You see, because 9 times out of 10, our people either calling them, or people either acting out of character so they could come. One of y'all calling them something like that. You bring them to you to do that. When there should be a community where the men are checking the men and the women are checking the women and making sure you don't have to call them over to anything that be in any of your business as a community. You see, that's how a community looks, where they handle their own problem. We don't call the police. We handle our own problems. We don't get them involved. See, when they got to get involved in your problems, that's when they're going to come and just do you any kind of way. See, no accountability. You want somebody else to be accountable for your actions. That's the mindset of children. Black people got the mindset of children. Black people have the mindset of children. I'm going to just say it like that. Am I saying all? No, but the majority on some level do. Because you believe that politics is going to work for you. You believe God and Jesus is going to work for you. You believe the Black consciousness is going to work for you. You believe these people are going to give you reparations and all of this business. And when that all of the things that you hang your hat on are based in beliefs. And the biggest belief is in God and Jesus, and that somehow these characters are going to come down from wherever they are and make your life better. Somehow going to come down and bless you, and everything will be over with, and you'll have no more burdens, no more, and all this other nonsense y'all talk about. I want you to understand what that talk really is. When you hear Black females out here talking about going to heaven and talking to Jesus and God and this, that, and the third, and that they're not going to have no more burdens in life, but they still doing degeneracy. They don't want to say that the burdens in their lives come from what they let into their lives, the people they let into their lives, the people they let into their bodies, the people they let into their minds. They don't want to say that that's the problem. They don't want to say that they're not strong as a people. They're not strong-willed mentally as a people because you have no law and order. You see, when there is no law and order, when there's no boundaries, and again, I'm not talking about the laws and orders of this land. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about law and order, natural law, natural order as a people. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about natural law and natural order as a people. A natural law and order that must be fostered and nurtured in a people, fostered for men and nurtured for women, must be fostered and nurtured in a community in order for us to grow. Now, I know this is going to fall on a lot of deaf ears, but it's supposed to. I don't expect people to listen to everything I'm saying. I don't expect that, but the intelligent people will. The ignorant people, it's going to fall on deaf ears. And unfortunately, we got a lot of ignorant people out here, a lot of ignorant people that don't really want a solution to the problems of our people here in America. You want a solution to racism. You want a solution to, all of the, police brutality, racism, all of the things that happen to our people, illiteracy, financial instability, bad relationships. You want to answer to it. The answer has always been there. The answer is always one thing. The answer is always community. The answer is always community, collective community. You see, the answer is always a collective community where the community is responsible for these people. The community deals with these people. The community has laws and orders that people must follow to be part of the community. You see, that's what we need to have. When people are following law and order, the law of men, the law of women, the law of children, because there's supposed to be laws for all three to govern all three: laws for men, laws for women, and laws for children. You see, when we follow law and order and make that the higher power, make law and order the higher power, because it is in fact the higher power. Law and order is the higher power, which is where the word Lord comes from. Law and order is in fact the higher power, and the people who house that or embody that law and order become that race of lords. They become that race of lords, not to be confused with God, but they become that race of lords, because the Lord is more powerful than God. The Lord is more powerful than God. Why? Because the Lord requires, to be people of the Lord, to be men and women of the Lord, it requires you to follow real laws and real orders, not customs and traditions like you Israelites. A lot of you guys will say, well, if you ain't got a beard on your face, you can't be a man and woman of the Lord. That's not true, because a beard on your face is a custom. It is not a law. That's a custom. That's a tradition that you're calling laws. You see, that why you think they say cleanliness is next to godliness, for lack of a better word, or as we say, lordliness. Again, clean face, clean mind. You see, clean face, clean mind. The angelic face, the clean face. You see, the face where people can see who you really are. 'Cause a lot of you guys, you hide behind beards and whatnot, but that's another story. But anyway, laws and orders. Don't get them confused. You see, don't get them confused with uh, um, customs and traditions. Law and order, laws of men, things we don't do under no circumstance. But see, you know what it is? There's a lot of weak males out here who really don't qualify to follow the laws of men. There's a lot of weak males out here who really don't qualify to follow the laws of real men. There are a lot of weak females out here who really don't qualify to follow the laws of women. You see, remember I said there are men and then there's males. Then you got women and then you got females. Most of the majority of people out here are males and females. They're not men and women, because they haven't been raised up or taught how to be men and women. You see, again, accountability, morality, decency, honesty, you see, modesty, all of the attributes that go into making laws and orders to make a greater people, a stronger people. So when you don't see people talking about that, when you see people just focusing on their own trivial desires and lust in the world, those are people who don't really want law and order, and they really don't want righteousness, and they really don't want a greater life, a greater turnout for their children or other, because your children have to have that greater mindset, that greater life as well. A lot of your children suffer because they don't follow law and order. Your children suffer because they don't follow law and order. Your children suffer because they go with their own desires, their own primitive and trivial desires. They go with their own trivial desires. And then going with their own trivial desires, they end up always in the worst places. Pregnant at a young age, men being fathers at young ages are not ready to be fathers. You see, why? Because you parents who allow your children out here to mingle amongst the general populace, amongst their peers, you basically putting your children in a shark tank. You put your children in a shark tank amongst other children who don't think like them, who were not raised like them. So then what happens? That the peers end up pulling them down. The peers, the people they're around in school, in social settings where you allow them to have friends and hang out with people who may not share your values, right? They end up pulling your children into a web of deception, a web of destruction, all of the things that may have befallen you as a child. You women who may have got molested and touched on as children. You see, by having too much interaction with relatives and friends and things like that. You see, amongst children, your children are not supposed to be out amongst, just one law we follow in our community. We don't have our children out amongst strangers. We don't have our children out amongst the social setting and things. In fact, we educate our own children. Because again, when you sending your children off to these schools, you're basically giving permission for your children to be indoctrinated with lies, with a bunch of hidden agendas, degenerate hidden agendas. This is what you're sending your children off to. You see, and you want to instill in them the mindset to become that race of lords, that race of young men and young women, men and women who are holding themselves to a higher standard. If that's what we're supposed to be raising, that's what we're supposed to be raising. But what I see is amongst Black people, when you talk about raising the bar, when you're talking about raising the standards of your children, your men and your women, when you talk about that, bringing that up collectively, I don't see why people support that. They don't support the idea of having an elitist society. I like an elitist society. I want an elitist society, an elected society, and an elitist society. We need that. We need bright excellence. We need bronze excellence, I should say, not Black excellence. I'm gonna just say, like, we need American excellence. Not getting a cold, but a little stuffy. We need American excellence, because we as Americans, as the only true Americans, the original Americans, we need to define what excellence is. We need to define what excellence is in ourselves. We need American excellence, bronze, indigenous excellence. We need that amongst ourselves so that we can show our children, show their children, showing ourselves forward that we are a greater people. We are a greater people. We have the ability to be a greater people. We have the ability to produce a collective body of greater people, people who are advanced in their thinking, people who are advanced in their attitudes and progressiveness. We have the ability to raise that in our people. We should stop taking the low ground, which is what Black people do. A lot of the time, Black people take the low ground. And when I say we take the low ground, I'm saying as a collective, we take the low ground. That you might have individuals who may take the higher ground, but as individuals, I said it really doesn't matter what stance you take, because as an individual, you don't mean anything in the world. People judge you by the company you keep, the collective, the people you with. So when they say Black people, they don't mean, oh, not you Black people over here. They mean all so-called Black people. Now, is it the reality that all so-called Black people are going to, follow law and order over God and Jesus? No, that's not a reality at all. Nor is it meant to be. Only the people who think on a higher level, people who are ready to raise the bar, only those people are going to understand what I'm saying, comprehend fully what I'm saying about the need for law and order over God and Jesus, religion, because God and Jesus it covers everything from not just religion and beliefs, but it covers all dogmas. When I say God and Jesus, that goes for Islam, Muhammad and Allah, Abraham and Hebrewism, or whatever crutches we're using as a people. We need to stop using Pan-Africanism, Black consciousness, all that nonsense. We've been there and done all of that. We've been through all that and we've done all that. So we need to flush the toilet on the things that don't work. We need to flush the toilet when we got stuff in the toilet that just ain't work, just waste, because all we doing is wasting our time. You see, all we doing is wasting our time. All we doing is wasting our time with God and Jesus, Allah and Jehovah and Yahweh and Islam. We wasting our time with that, man. All y'all ever going to be in Islam, Christian, and all the religions is the Black section. All you guys going to be is the Black section. That's all. The section where they don't really take you seriously, because that the world is always going to consider them the real this, or the real Muslims, the real Christians, you just the Black section. See, when we say we American, it don't matter if they say, oh, well, the white man say he American, or well, this man said the Native American said it don't matter what they say. Doesn't matter. Here's the beautiful thing about that. We can prove them wrong. We can prove them wrong about who the real Americans are. We know we the real Americans. We know we the real American Indians, the real American indigenous people that they're trying to wipe out. And that's the beauty of it. I would rather align myself with and fight for the the right to declare myself American indigenous and just American rather than fight for all of the things that are false, that lead us nowhere. Because like whether you accept it or not, we in America. I'm in America. I'm not in Africa. I'm not in Asia. I'm not in Europe. I'm in America. I've been in America for over 55, going on 55 years. I was born in America. My parents, them, my family, my lineage goes back in America. My lineage don't go back to Africa. My lineage don't go back to no place other than here in America. That's it. So I might as well be the best American and use law and order to govern myself, law and order to govern myself, not the law and the order of this land, because the laws and order of this land are meant to govern immigrants of this land. The laws and the orders of this land are meant to govern immigrants of this land, meaning that they're very loose and they're very what's the word I want to say? Very loose and very open. I'm gonna just say it like that. There's room for interpretation with the laws of this land. See, when it comes to our community, we want the laws in our community to be stringent. We want them to be taken seriously because it's going to make us a better people. When I say we have in our community laws and orders for men and women, we have that in our community, the Republic of America. When we become registered Americans, the goal is to make ourselves better Americans, greater Americans, because we in America. You might as well start where you are now. It's just, to me, it's sick for people to be talking about being the best, this, that, and the third, and all that's foreign to us. All this stuff is foreign to us. You telling us to align ourselves with or connect ourselves with things that are foreign to us when we here in America. Make that make sense to me. If you can't be the best Americans, then you can't be no God bodies and no Jesus or no Christ and no Muhammad, and you living raggedy as a roach. You living in welfare and projects or wherever you living at. You don't want to do no better. You just living just how you living. You surviving. You living like a roach out here. There should be law and order for men to strive and do better and be better examples of what men are supposed to be. Men are always supposed to have money. Men are always supposed to have money. Women are always supposed to be with men that have money. Children are supposed to have two parents, not one parent. Okay? Things like that. Men are always supposed to be providers and protectors. Don't we agree with that? That's a law. A man amongst our people, and anybody who ain't following that law amongst our people, the real Americans, we don't want you around us. You black. Remember, I said black should only be associated with the worst of our people. The term black should only be associated with the worst of our people. You see, to the point where we don't even consider them our people. If once you consider black, you're not even our people no more. But as Americans, original Americans, as forward-thinking Americans, as registered Americans in the Republic of America, we are using law and order as our dividing rod, as our working principle. We're using law and order, the law and order of men, and the law and the order of women, and the law and the order of children. That's all we need. That is our higher power. That is our connection to the higher power. Because the Lord, the true creator, the Most High, works off of law and order. The Most High that y'all claim y'all know and pray to, and y'all got an idea of or conceptualized idea of, is based in law and order. Everything that we are around based on our genetic makeup, our biological makeup, everything that's around us in the environment is based on law and order. It's all based on law and order. Everything that we are in alignment with is based in law and order. Tell me where it's not. Tell me where it's not based in law and order. Everything around us is based on a law and order. How our heart pumps blood through our body. There's a law and order for that. And when the body's not following that law and that order, when the heart is pumping too fast or pumping too slow, then things have to be done to rectify that, because your heart is not following the law and order of a healthy heartbeat. In other words, there's a healthy heartbeat or an acceptable heartbeat, a standard heartbeat for a person to live, for a person to live, for a person to be able to sustain life. Same way with breathing. There's a law to breathing. There's a law to breathing. These are all directions. Y'all follow what I'm saying? These are all directions to being greater people. Law and order produces direction. When you have law and order in your life, you move better in life. You have direction in life. You know what to do and what not to do. The worst mistakes that we make in life are based on the fact that we have no direction in life. When you make bad decisions in life, when you make bad mistakes in life, that's due to lack of direction, which is due to lack of or no law and order, which is no discipline. You see, no direction in life is because you have no law and order in your life. No law and order in life equals no discipline in life. Because you got to know what to say yes to and what to say no to, don't you? Don't you got to know what to say yes to in life and what to say no to? You got to know what type of women to say yes to and what type of females to say no to. You got to know, same thing with you women. You got to know what type of men to say yes to and what kind of males to say no to. The problem is y'all don't know. That's why you say yes to all the wrong males and you say no to the wrong men and you say yes to the wrong males. You say no to you say no to the right men. You women, you say no to the right men and yes to the right males, and then mess your damn life up. You men say yes to the you say no to the right women and yes to the wrong females, and you mess your lives up. See, again, that's what law and order is: boundaries, things you do and things you don't do. The things that we say we over here, we don't do that over here. We don't eat that. We don't eat pork. We don't eat pork. Yeah, we don't eat garbage. We don't eat any kind. We don't eat soy. You see, that's the law amongst our men in our community. We don't eat pork. We don't eat soy. We don't eat a lot of things in our diet. You see, the men we don't practice no form of alternative lifestyles or any forms of alternative sexuality. No, it's men for women and women for men. That's it. We don't practice none of that. But see, amongst black people, all that's on the menu. Pork is on the menu, right? Pork is on the menu with black people. Soy is on the menu. Fast food, homosexuality, lesbian, all that's on the menu with black people. That's why we can't be. That's why if that's something we don't do, we can't be with black people. Then we can't say, oh, we can't say that we're not like these people or that we're the same people if we're not doing the same thing. If I'm saying we cool with certain things that we're not in agreement with, and again, I don't care what nobody do, but I can't be associated with you. If you are participating in any of these things that I disagree with, then I can't be associated with you. Not my people. If you a sodomite or you wine or you doing all kind of degenerate, I can't be associated with you. And that's the whole point of having a community that doesn't do that. You want to associate with people who don't do the things who do not do the things that people in the world do. That's why I say we got to have our own separate community from black people. The people that think like this, the people who not the pork eaters, the people who not we ain't about swirling over here, and we ain't about alternative sexual things. We're not about that. I know that sounds strange to have that mindset in 2025 because now you got so many black people who are with it because you done been guilted into accepting these degenerate ways of life. You've been guilted as black people into accepting these degenerate ways of life. Or you might say, no, I ain't with that. But you'll say stuff like, we all still the same people, but I ain't with that. But, we still our brother. And I said, you hear that with a lot of the black conscious community. They'll say, oh, I'm not with the alternative lifestyle thing or sexual preference thing. But then they'll be like, that's still our brother and sister. Then you with it then. You with it. Because I can't rightfully call you. I don't care if we got the same skin tone or whatever. It don't matter. Because I can't say you my brother or sister because we got the same skin complexion and same skin tone, and I don't agree with how you govern your life. If I don't agree with how you govern your life, then you're not my people. You see? We're not about that. If I don't eat swine, if I don't agree with sodomites, and I don't agree with none of that alternative stuff, if I don't agree with that, then we can't be the same people. Sorry, we can't walk in the same mindset. If you into swirling and you black females, y'all all into, ain't nothing wrong with being with other races and whatnot. If y'all with that, I can't be with you. I don't want my daughters to think like that. I want my daughters to be with bronze men. I want my daughters to be with bronze men of their own seed. And there's nothing wrong with that. I want them to be with bronze men, not even black men, because black men are mentally deaf, mentally, what's that? How you say mentally blind, deaf, and dumb? Black men are mentally blind, deaf, and dumb. So I said bronze men. When I say bronze men, I mean men who woken up to the reality that they're actually bronze people and they're not black. People of my community, people of our community. You see, you want your daughter, you don't want your daughters to go out here and just get with anybody because they got dark skin. And you definitely don't want them to get with the other races out here. You want them to get with somebody who thinks like you, thinks like them, who are the same and who in alignment together. Because that's how you build bridges, you build families going forward. That's how you do that. If you don't think like that, then this is why black people in the condition they in. They let everybody marry into their family. They let your daughters choose who they're gonna be their husbands and whatnot. Next thing you know, she got a bunch of babies. This guy done left her behind because she didn't follow the law of women. They don't follow the law of women. Women are supposed to have a law. Men are supposed to have a law. Children are supposed to have a law. You know, that's what's supposed to be. But again, you got people that don't want to follow that because it's easier just to be out here, and be degenerates and whatnot, and just follow whatever, is put out into the masses. That's why I say what I teach is not for the masses. It's only for chosen people, because the things that are for the masses, usually when beliefs are shared in the masses and masses of people just accept the way of thinking and belief, and there's no critical thinking, like just how y'all accept Jesus and God. Reason why y'all do that is because you don't really care if God and Jesus is real. But what it does is it keeps you from being responsible, because what I just tell you, a lot of people want God and Jesus in their life because they believe that God and Jesus is going to, forgive them for what they're doing. So there's no accountability. You see, anything where there's zero judgment and no accountability, people will tend to run toward, as opposed to, being responsible for their actions. That's why the church is so full of people, because they can go in there and pray and fall on their face and cry and tell Jesus they sorry and all this other nonsense, and think they're absolved of their sins or the things they've done. That's the problem. You should never do things that you're ashamed of. You should never do things that you're ashamed of. If you do things that you got to hide in the dark, things you're ashamed of, then you shouldn't be doing that. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. You see, I don't hide the fact that I smoke. I don't hide that, because there's nothing wrong with it. I don't smoke tobacco. I don't smoke no, it's not a drug. It's an herb. I don't hide that. It's who I am in my life. I'm not like these. I'm not a reverend. I'm not a minister. I'm not all these fake people. I'm real. Who you see you talking to, who I'm talking, the person who's speaking is who he is. I'm real. A lot of these guys, a lot of these people that's coming out here and they just talking. They trying to be influencers and social media, whatever. That's not me. I just give a fair, real account of the problems of those amongst us, our people. Because again, my message is for the chosen people. My message is for the elect. My message is not for black people at all. Not at all. I can always say my message is not for black people, because black people are not community minded. Black people don't want to follow law and order. They're forced to follow law and order amongst from the society. But I want our people to follow natural law and natural order. That's what we need. The orders that we follow out here in the society are artificial laws and artificial orders from artificial people. We should be following natural law and natural order as natural people. Does that not make sense? We are natural people. So we should be following natural law and natural order, which that part of that is supposed to be us together as a community, as an American community, because the truth is, are we not Americans? Is that not the truth? Are we not original Americans? Are we not the only real Americans here? Yes or no? I want to see by a show of, Hands down. Are we acknowledging that we are the real Americans? Yes or no? Are we acknowledging that? Are we acknowledging that we the real Americans? Okay, so if we acknowledging that we the real Americans, shouldn't we have an American community? Yes or no? Shouldn't we have an American community? Yes or no? We should have an American community as the real Americans, correct? We should have an American community as real Americans. There should not be a time where we don't have a community, because whether we calling ourselves a community or not, we're always going to be lumped in with the so-called black community. They're going to, whether let's just say, oh, we don't need no community, we our own, whatever. You're always going to be lumped in with the so-called African American community, the black community. Well, here's the time where we can say, you know what? We're not with that. We're not part of the African American community. We're not part of the black community. We are our own separate community, our own separate community, our own American community, our own indigenous American community, our own American community, our own American order. That's what we have in the Republic of America. That's what we have. So those of you who like what's been said about being accountable, about being greater people, real, better people, by law and order, following law and order, become a registered American in the Republic of America, because this is the healing that we need. This is a healing that we need in being better people. This is what we need. Reality of who we are as Americans, to have a community based on that, to make us better Americans, greater Americans, because we are the only real Americans. Again, trying to be the best Christian out there, trying to be the best Muslim out there, trying to be the best Israelite or Pan-Africanist out there is not going to help our people. Trying to be the best FBA out there is not going to help our people, because it all deals with no law, no order, and no accountability. Black people have zero law, zero order, and zero accountability. I'm talking about natural law, natural order, and accountability. Natural law and order brings accountability, brings better outcomes in life when we know that we have boundaries, things we do and won't do. Black people have no boundaries at this point. Black people are at the point we have. I mean, there's certain things they ain't as degenerate as other people, as you know what I'm saying. Black people ain't there yet, but y'all getting there. You're getting there. You ain't there yet. Black people by far are not the worst people on the planet. Not by far, but y'all getting there. You're getting there. You see, and that's all due to no accountability, no community, no natural law and natural order, because we can't follow the laws and the orders of this society. That because these laws are too broad and whatnot. Like I said, of course, like it to me, it's not enough law and order here. It's not enough. That's when I say we can't follow it. It's not enough. You see, most of the law and order here that the policies of this they put out here is just mainly to get money. So they're really pushing policies, not laws. They're pushing policies. That's what politicians do. They push policies. There's no laws here. There's no order here. There's policy and corruption here. There's policy and corruption that runs the society, not law and order. Because there's no, if law and order really ran the society, there's no way that young white kid who went up on the stand and he's a convicted, he was convicted of a sexual assault on those girls, and the judge let him go. The judge let him go, and these are white girls here, so it shouldn't be nobody. But he choked out these girls, and they let him go. They gave him probation. They gave this guy probation because he was young, he was white, and then nobody wanted to say that, but that's really what it is. He was young, he was white, and they didn't want to lock him up in jail and mess up his life. But had he been black, he'd have been under the jail. See, this is not law and order. That's what I'm talking about. That's not law and order. You see, you can't have a double standard of law and order. Everybody's supposed to be under the same law and order, but the reason why they don't do that is because this society is not based in law and order. It's based on policy and corruption. This society is based on policy and corruption. That's why you got politicians who are corrupt from top down, politicians that are corrupt. You see, policy and corruption. There's no law and order here. I'm going to say it again. Policy and corruption. Put it in there. PC. Why you think? PC. PC. Ain't that funny? That's one of their favorite things. That you have to be PC. They say it means politically correct, but that's another way of saying policy and corruption. You see, policy and corruption, because how is it that you have corruption in all branches of society that and the people in the society? How do you have corruption everywhere? From the government down, you have corruption. From law enforcement down, you got corruption. You got corruption in corporate America, corruption in Hollywood. It's corruption everywhere. And it still runs because it's run on policy and corruption, not law and order. That's why I say we need law and order. We need law and order, natural law and order, to offset the policy and corruption that runs this society that the people follow. You people in religion follow policy and corruption. That's why your reverends and your ministers won't speak out against alternative sexuality and whatnot. They should have been saying more about speaking out on that, but they accept it because, see, they want them 501c3s from the government, and they got, and part of getting that 501c3 from the government is you gotta not discriminate against, sexual perversion. You can't discriminate. You gotta be like okay with that. You can't tell these people they can't join your church or if you went to 501c3. You can't speak out against that no more, because many of the people in this political system are like that. Many of these people are sexual perverts, sexual degenerates in this system. Many of these people are, from judges on down, like that South Carolina judge who got caught with the pedo material. But he's a racist too. He was up here calling black people all kind of names, and then look what happened to him. He got busted in some child pornography thing. See, there you go. This is who runs the society. A bunch of people who are pedos, weirdos, freakos, sodomites, all kind of degenerate filth runs the society. That's very un-American. They are very un-American. Real Americans are clean, upright people. That's what we used to be. When we were Republicans, I'm not talking about this Republican Party. I'm talking when we were real Republicans. Because again, even though the system was corrupt, but the values of Republicans was our people, responsible people, respectful people, law-abiding people, people who wasn't breaking the law, hard-working people. That was our people at one time. People who had money, because we had money, we had land, we worked hard. And we send our children to schools, to college, and things like that. We had values when we knew we were American. You see, when we knew we were American, they was calling us American Negroes. We had values. We had some semblance of law amongst our people in our communities. Until that changed with the whole Democratic thing. You see. But again, that's what runs the society. And too many of our people are running in alignment, running concurrent with these policies and corruptions. That's why, if I'm about to wrap this up, but I'm gonna leave you with something. You ever notice how when these guys who get locked up for selling drugs and doing all this other stuff, they run the street? Notice how these niggas get in jail and they become jailhouse lawyers, and they know how to go around the system and go and weave through this law and get this thing. They become damn lawyers and know how to work the policy and get themselves out, get time taken off their sentence and whatnot. Why? You know why? Because you so-called black men who get caught up in this thing, y'all worship policy and corruption over law and order. You know how to weave through policy and corruption. When you get locked up in jail, y'all start learning how to weave through the policies and corruption, because y'all guys are following policy and corruption of this society. You vibrate on the same thing. That's how you know how to maneuver through the system. You see, we ain't supposed to have to maneuver through no system. We're supposed to be following law and order and moving on our own path as a people. The policy and corruption of this society should be for the people of this society. We're supposed to have our own communities separate from the society. You see, that's what's going to make us a better people. Now, a lot of people ain't for that. They want things to get better within this system of policy and corruption, but it's not. It never will for you. It's always going to be bad until our people come forward to natural law and natural order again. And that's it. Direct law and direct order. So I'm about to wrap this up. Go and join the Republic. Go and become a registered American. Become a registered American in the Republic of America. If you want to live like a real American, like we should be living with real American values, as real Americans, first Americans, going forward, picking up where our ancestors left off at before they became Negroes, before they became Black, before they became African American, picking up where we left off as Americans, to be real Americans, registered Americans in our American community, the Republic of America, ROA Worldwide. Join or go to ROA Worldwide and become a registered American in the Republic of America, ROA Worldwide. Also, you can contribute to the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. This is a festival we did this year. We're going to be doing it next year, May. So we are taking contributions for it. We're also looking for sponsorship. We're gathering up sponsors and whatnot to raise up the money to do this. So if you have a business that you want to be showcased at the American Indigenous Street Music Festival, which the video for the video footage of it went viral on TikTok. And, you know, people had positive things to say about you. Had people that had negative things to say about it. We don't give a damn. Either way, we still did it. We pulled off an American Indigenous Street Music Festival. Yes, we did. In 2025, very historical thing we did. We pulled off an American Indigenous Street Music Festival for bronze-skinned Americans, for us, only for us, for bronze-skinned Indigenous Americans, the first Americans, for us, okay? Not for nobody else. We're not going to sit up here and try to put people into our thing. Like I said, the Native Americans over there, cool. Respect to them. The African Americans, the ones who coming from Africa over into America, that's over there. The Africans, that's for them. But we moving on our own path, American Indigenous people. We on the move as American Indigenous people. Bronze-skinned American Indigenous people, the bronze people. We on our own lane. No more Black, no more African American, just American. Just bronze people, bronze men and bronze women going forward. That's it. That's it. So join the Republic of America, ROA Worldwide. Join and become a registered American in the Republic of America. Let's clean up what it means to be American, because so many people are dirtied it up. Contribute to the American Indigenous Street Music Festival 2026 that's taking place in Atlanta, Georgia, May of 2026 next year. It's going to be bigger and better. If you have businesses you want to sponsor, you can go and hit the link down below and go to the site and become a supporter of the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. We're going to get bigger and better every year. So stay tuned for that. Also, go hit my Mentellect Patreon page. My Mentellect Patreon page, where I do my broadcast every night I do, which I'm going to do after this, goes on to the Mentellect Patreon page. So subscribe, become a subscriber to Mentellect Patreon. We got a men's channel and a women's channel, but the Patreon, just go and become a subscriber to that. I'm always putting next level intelligence on that channel, so check it out. And also check out Sister Enra Vanzetta Mentangelin's page on YouTube. Check out American Indigenous channel. Check out the American Indigenous channel on here. Okay. And also visit me on TikTok under Ben Manhattan. Ben Manhattan. I'm on TikTok. Send me a message. I'll be doing stuff. I'm gonna do some stuff on TikTok tomorrow. So that's all. That's all. I'm about to close this out in the name of Lord Amen, by the power of Lord Amen. And Lord Amen, we think, and Lord Amen, we continue forward as real Americans. And with that, I'm out.